Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Genetically Modified Overkill run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're trying out GMO in the new patch, because of course Brotato just received a new patch with a brand new enemy, and so I'm excited to see what spectacular bugs have been introduced with the new patch to the GMO mod. To do this, I'm going to try out one of my favorite combos in GMO. We're going to be playing the baby with the Vagabond, and we'll just be collecting every single weapon tag in the game and seeing how many free stats we can get from that. I think that this is both a fun and interesting combination, because you have to figure out exactly what weapon tags are going to be most beneficial, and also the low defenses of this combo make it a little more difficult than it might at first appear. I'm going to start with the loot, because the musical and support tags are just so good to start with. They're going to set our economy off on the right direction, and let's just jump right into it and see if this works, given that we are in a brand new world. In my last video, I mentioned that I didn't know the mechanics for spawning the Gobbler, the new enemy. I wasn't sure if it spawned in a certain wave or what. I have since looked that up, and it has a 0.3% chance of spawning each wave. So we were actually pretty lucky to see it in my first attempt at looking for it, because it only shows up one in every 300 waves. So seeing it in the very first video is pretty good. Landmines I am going to pick up here, because extra clear speed is going to be pretty good for this character, and we're locking this rock because that's going to give us the primitive and blunt tags right away. Just to remind you how these characters work, the baby has item discounts and gets only one weapon slot, but gets a new weapon slot every time it levels up, instead of getting the normal stats. It also takes additional XP to level up, so this character will have very low stats, but lots of weapons as you continue to level up. The Vagabond has defense and economy penalties, but each individual weapon we have counts for every single weapon tag that we have. So if we have only one primitive weapon, but we have at least 6 weapons, the game will give us the full bonus of the primitive weapon tag, as though we had 6 primitive weapons. So when we get, say, primitive and blunt, we're going to get all of these bonuses alongside all of the musical and support bonuses, and so on. So we're going to collect basically every weapon tag in the game. We also can only equip one of each weapon, so we're going to have to mix and match. I think shotgun is not the best way to get gun, so I'm going to pass on that. We already have support, so we don't need sickle. I will buy the coffee, though, and then let's reroll. We still already have support, so we don't need pruner. We'll buy the weird food. I'm going to lock the mushroom, and I'll do one more reroll here. Javelin is a duplicate weapon tag, but is a pretty good weapon. Do I want it anyways? I think not. I think we can do better in terms of just getting... I should not have stepped on that landmine, obviously. Just gave up some enemy kills there as a result. We didn't level up, so I still only have one weapon, which is making this a little slower. I don't actually know if we attack fast enough to kill this tree. I'm grouping all the enemies on top of each other, but I think we won't be able to kill the tree. We just won't have the damage for that. So I'm going to focus on just getting at least some money by bonking things with our loot. We'll take our weapon slot here, and then we've got a rock, which is perfect, because now we have tags as though we have 2 weapons, so we're actually getting some benefit from having a musical weapon. We'll take the loot here. I'll lock the dangerous bunny, and then I'm going to do a reroll. And plank is worth locking. Jousting lance also gives us medieval, which is a pretty important weapon tag, and 2% speed, which will help offset the speed loss from the rock, so from the blunt weapon tag. So jousting lance is a nice find there as well. Some of the weapon tags we're looking for most are heavy. Additional damage is always good. We're looking for medieval, which we just found. We're looking for ethereal, which will give us 30% dodge. And we're looking for unarmed, which will give us 15% more dodge. And that's going to be where a lot of our defensive capabilities are going to come from on this character combination. No chance I hit level 3 here, unfortunately. Bag is really nice because not only is it just a great item already, the baby has item price discounts, which means that every material we get is that much more valuable. So finding items like bag that give you extra money they're both cheaper to buy, and the materials are worth more because the baby is a deflationary character, so every material you get is just worth significantly more. We'll take the coffee here because it's just a great item. Quarterstaff is worth considering. We have both primitive and medieval weapon tags already, so I don't necessarily need it for the tags, but the XP, it's an okay weapon. We'll be getting a lot of levels, and even tiny amounts of XP gain are pretty powerful on the baby because we need to get those those character levels. So I think it's worth locking the quarterstaff there. Jousting Lance is also a nice weapon for this character because it's just very good at early game clear speed. It just has high base damage, which can be a problem for this combination depending on what weapons we get. It can be easy, I think, to accidentally buy too many weapons that give us the right weapon tags but aren't actually very good weapons and end up not being able to kill anything. So getting a weapon like Jousting Lance that's really good at helping us kill stuff is very important. Take our weapon slot here, and then I think I'm going to grab the quarterstaff over the plank here. It's a slightly better weapon for early game clear speed, and also we don't need the explosive or elemental weapon tags yet. We'll upgrade our rock. I will buy an Ugly Tooth, even though I do desperately want to fix my movement speed. Still going to be good to buy. We have support and elemental already, so I won't need the taser. Let's do a reroll here. We'll buy propeller hat. Hand is probably worth buying. I do need the unarmed weapon tag, and although hand isn't the best way to get it, it does give us 1.5 harvesting. Only 1.5 because the Vagabond's harvesting modifiers are reduced, and so that can push us to the next harvesting threshold a little sooner. Getting to 6 weapon slots is going to be our first big boost because that's just going to max out the weapon tags of all the weapons that we have collected up to that point. Another really good one to get will be medical, because that's going to get us a lot of additional healing, which this character, of course, needs. The main challenge for the baby is that without stats from levels, you end up with just very, very low defenses. And we have -5 armor from being the Vagabond. We're going to get -5 more armor probably when we buy an ethereal weapon. So this character is going to struggle with having just very low defenses overall. Take the defective steroids here. We'll take a weapon slot, and then let's go with the hand, I think. Just get our dodge to positive. Although XP gain is pretty important, I will still buy the feather. We'll want the ranged damage for some of the weapons that we're going to find anyways, so it's going to be pretty useful. We have no precise weapons yet, so the claw is pretty good. Do I want to sell the hand and buy the claw? Because the reason I would consider that is it would give us unarmed and precise. I think I will lock the claw and make that decision later as to whether we want to keep the hand or not, based on how many levels we've gotten. One thing we haven't found is any additional XP gain, and in fact I've reduced my XP gain a little bit by buying the feather, but obviously we'll end up with some ranged weapons on this character, so the one ranged damage is good, and we're building dodge, so buying feather is going to be very valuable. As soon as we get an ethereal weapon, we're going to have tons of dodge on this character, and so every point of dodge is just going to be so useful. I will say we've struggled to get to 6 weapons. We just haven't hit level 5 very fast on this character, so that is holding us back, because it took us just a really long time to get a full set of weapons for our weapon tags here. So here, let's go ahead and buy the plank. I think I will sell the hand and buy the claw. That gives us 15 crit chance, keeps our dodge high, and hand is just not a very good weapon in terms of actually killing stuff. Here's our ethereal weapon, which we talked about. We want Scar, Claw, and Cake. These are all great. Let's roll. I will definitely take the Lost Duck. Cute Monkey is a decent way to heal, but I think we will still want ranged damage, so I'm going to reroll here. Flute, we don't need. Cursed Javelin I'll take just because a Cursed Javelin is a great weapon. So even though we already have the primitive weapon tag, of course we're going to want to buy a powerful cursed weapon like that. Definitely could use some movement speed. Part of why we haven't made that much money each wave is that our move speed is low, so it's making it hard for us to get from enemy to kill them. Whoops. Definitely did not need to walk into that attack there. That put my HP somewhat low, which is going to slow my clear speed this wave, because I'm going to have to play a little more cautiously. And that's going to set us behind a bit, just that I walked into a couple projectiles and took extra damage that I did not need to. $230 on wave 7 isn't great, but isn't terrible, though, so we're in okay shape still. So here, I will drop down to -3 armor, but we'll go up to 49% dodge, so we're already at a massive dodge value. If I just find a couple armor items, we'll be in great shape. I will definitely take the coffee. We need more attack speed. Compass will cost me 3 crit chance, which we have tried to build, but movement speed is so valuable for this character, we've got to buy it. I think that elemental damage from the Shiv is a good way to get it, so I'm going to pick that up. The elemental tag from the Shiv is a good way to get elemental, so we're going to pick that up. And I will buy the Claw Tree. I don't really care about my max HP, and I do want more melee damage. We have a lot of melee scaling weapons and have not managed to pick up any melee damage. We will eventually get 5 for free when we get the blade weapon tag, but we haven't seen a blade weapon yet. Having found a couple coffees is nice because, honestly, our main damage sources right now are our quarterstaff and our jousting lance, and both of those care mostly about attack speed. We're also very unlikely to ever get kills, enough kills with our Ghost Flint in order to actually get attack speed from it, but we just have it because it gives us the ethereal weapon tag. That being said, since we have reduced our armor so much and the Vagabond starts with low armor, I very much want to find armor gain items, because we have offset that a little bit with the medieval and blunt weapon tags, but that's it, and now we are going to need to find more armor to get it back to positive. I'll take the baby elephant, I'll take a weapon slot here. So here we have an interesting spot where I could sell the plank to buy the level 3 plank. I think that's probably worth it. Level 3 plank will actually help us clear the wave quite a bit faster. Javelin, I think, is worth buying the Cursed Javelin to boost our curse. We'll buy Corrupted Shard. I'll keep the Lightning Shiv locked. Upgrade our Javelin, that's pretty nice. Buy Defective Steroids as well. And Boiling Water will only scale our Flank and our Lightning Shiv, so I'm going to pass on it. We have Unarmed, so I don't need the Fist. We don't need the Spear for Primitive either, so let's lock Weird Food and go to the next wave here. So basically we're looking for move speed, armor, and regeneration on this character, and enough dodge to get us to 60 dodge. Those are our main needs right now. But we're trying to maximize the amount of free stats that we get from weapon tags, which we've done a good job of so far. No gobblers so far, but as I mentioned, they're not as common as you might think, so we were very lucky to see one in last video. It's only like 1 in 10 runs or so are going to have a gobbler in it. If the information I have on their spawn rate is correct. Another 2 weapon slots is great. That's going to help us get additional weapon tags and just more weapons overall. Like the Jousting Lance, Weird Food. Baby Elephant is going to be worth buying still. We just get more clear speed from that. So we already have Precise and Elemental from Lightning Shiv, but would I prefer to get it from Icicle? I guess we already have Precise from Claw, so I could also get Elemental from Flamethrower, which would be a pretty good way to deal damage, especially when I get bonus range, which we'll eventually get from the gun weapon tag. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Flamethrower for now. I'll lock the bowler hat. I maybe should have bought the bowler hat first, but I'm fine with this. We'll take the insanity as well, because we have a lot of weapons that care about crit chance. We'll roll here, we'll buy Scar, and then we've got Sword, which will give us Blade and Medieval. Still don't have Gun. That's the most common weapon tag. I did pass a shotgun at the beginning, but I was looking for more important tags. We'll pick up Gun later on. And we've got a good weapon locked already, so let's just go to the next wave. It's possible I should have bought the bowler hat first, obviously, because that's an economy item. I just got excited about the flamethrower. When we have Blade from that sword, we will also get some lifesteal, which will go really well with the flamethrower. Flamethrower attacks super fast, so it's actually the best weapon in the game for lifesteal. One of the great things about flamethrower is that it's secretly just the best healing item in the game. If we get an SMG as our gun as well, we'll be able to use lifesteal pretty effectively, even as a mostly melee build. So we're hoping for something like that. Obviously, we would prefer something like a minigun, because we still don't have heavy either. Oops, took a bunch of damage there. Again, I need to be very aware that I have negative armor, and so can die in just a couple shots very quickly. We got one weapon tag, so we'll take the sword, and this will give us 5 lifesteal and 5 melee damage, which is perfect. And then we'll take fertilizer and bowler hat. We don't have a tool yet, so we'll lock this wrench, because the incendiary turret will be good, and this will give us a bunch of engineering. So that's a pretty nice find in terms of a tool for us. Take a penguin and a turret, and we'll upgrade our claw here, and then reroll. Cacti Club gets us heavy, which is great, so we're definitely going to take that, and we'll buy propeller hat as well. Spoon is kind of interesting because we do have a flamethrower, which is giving us... Oh, wait, flamethrower gives us heavy, so I don't need the Cacti Club. When did they add heavy to flamethrower? Has it always had this? I honestly didn't remember it having the heavy weapon tag. So we don't actually need Cacti Club, and I don't think it's going to be that incredible a weapon for us, so we're going to not lock it. We'll keep the wrench and the propeller hat locked, though. Although we buy Harvesting and Luck at 50% value on this character, it's still good to buy them, because we have the item discount from the baby, so they cost a lot less to buy them, and economy is so important to this character. We need high luck also to get good items that can help offset the lack of defensive stats. One, like, metal plate would make such a difference to this character's survivability as well. We just need anything that gives armor at the moment. That's what we're most desperate for, is just some armor. We also still don't have the medical tag, which would give us a lot of regeneration. 5 regen from that would be a big help to our survivability as well. But you can see that when I do take a hit that goes through my dodge, which is admittedly pretty high, but when we do take damage that goes through it, it's pretty bad. I'll take the cauldron. We'll take the weapon slot here as well. I will definitely buy a wrench. Lighthouse is kind of interesting. It will boost the damage of my turret and incendiary turret by a lot. We'll definitely upgrade our lightning shiv. Do I want the lighthouse? It is not bad for trying to kill the elite with the powered up incendiary turret, so I think I will take the lighthouse here. We'll lock the campfire. Brick gives us the blunt weapon tag, which just isn't that exciting to us. Lucky Charm I think I'm actually going to pass on, because I think there's more important things for me to buy at this point. I'm also going to swap out... No, I don't think it's worth swapping out the Ghost Flint for the Ghost Axe. It would be better, but it's just not that important to spend 130 materials on. So we're going to try to keep the elite on fire and just keep attacking it. Our damage output is not terrible against single targets, because we've got good burning damage. We just have a lot of weapons. The downside is that if I take damage back, it's going to be lethal very quickly because our armor is so heavily negative. And although we have okay healing, it's certainly not enough that we can just run at the elite with complete impunity. Got a dodge there. I think that's actually, with 50% dodge, our first dodge of this wave, which is kind of sad. But this is why dodge is an unreliable stat. It's always a percentage chance, and sometimes you get unlucky. So you can't rely on it as your only defense in general. But we killed the elite, that's great. Bone dice, sure, I'll take this. Max HP is not really that big a problem because we have the primitive and blunt weapon tags. Ooh, an explosive turret, that's a fun one. We'll take a weapon slot here. Okay, the octopus is great. This gives us so many bonus defensive stats. That's exactly what we need. Yes, it cost me a crit chance, but going up to significantly more healing is so much better. We'll upgrade our loot because the debuff is pretty nice to place on enemies. Sword is actually one of our better weapons, so worth upgrading. Wrench is probably worth upgrading as well. And I'll take the ritual also. Here we'll do a free reroll. Okay, we'll lock the pistol because that gives us a free... that gives us the gun weapon tag, which we don't have yet. Not obviously the best gun to get, but it's the one we saw in the shop, so we're gonna buy it. We may replace it if we find something really exciting, like a minigun or something like that, or obviously a legendary weapon. Though with this character, with legendary weapons, with the Vagabond, you are going to take the full penalty as though you had 6 legendary weapons. So you're going to be losing 100 HP or 120. I can't remember how much it is. So you do need to be very careful with that. Basically, the only thing we need at this point, though, is armor. Because you can see here, I took 1 hit, and that was 27 damage, and almost got 2 tapped when we took those 2 hits in a row. And 1 cursed enemy could spell our doom very, very quickly. Gonna upgrade our weapons here. We'll buy that. The leveled up flamethrower is pretty nice. We have heavy and blunt already. Rocket launcher gives us explosive, so I could sell the plank, which is our source of explosive, for the rocket launcher. I could also just buy rocket launcher just because it's a good weapon, and then we'll upgrade our flamethrower because that's going to be a big increase to our damage output. Oh, okay, nice. That's, oh wait, we have blade already, but chainsaw is still just going to be a good weapon for us. Alloy is kind of nice, but I really don't want to lose this much dodge, because it does give us base stats for all of our weapons, so it will boost everything that we're doing. Losing 6 dodge is pretty bad, but I think we still have to buy the alloy. When you're building a weapon set that looks like this, an item that gives you damage for everything is just too good to pass up on. The 50 free range from the gun weapon tag is pretty nice for this character, honestly. Not only are we mostly melee, so the range is not bad for those weapons, just so we can maintain a little more spacing. With the baby, your weapons are further apart from each other and from your character, because there's so many more of them. So often you can be in a situation where only half of your weapons are in range to attack the enemy at a time. So having extra range on the baby can be really good. I can't remember if I've actually made this joke already, but in this run, but the existence of the Vagabond baby really bespeaks a tragedy. Someone needs to give that baby a house. Here, we've got... I'm going to recycle the flamethrower and buy the better flamethrower. Double alloy will cost us a ton of dodge, which is our only defensive stat, but I think is still worth buying. It's just so many offensive stats for us, and then hopefully we will be able to find more armor at some point, and more dodge to replace the dodge that we just lost. But 6 of each damage and 10% crit chance is just too good to pass up on, I think. Especially because I'm going to have some weapons that scale with multiple things, like the chainsaw is going to scale with both engineering and melee damage, so it double dips on the alloy bonuses. I wish we had found a hunting trophy or something at this point, because we have good crit chance and we're in a horde wave. So if we had hunting trophy or black flag, something like that, we would be getting so much extra money this wave. Still made very good income here. Yeah, I'll take the celery tea. You need more XP gain on this character, basically no matter when it shows up. And then we'll take the Black Belt, Chainsaw, and Cyclops Worm. We'll roll. Barnacle doesn't do anything for this character, unfortunately. We'll buy the Corrupted Shard. We already have a blunt weapon tag, so we don't need that. The SMG is a good enough gun that I'm going to take it anyways. It goes really well with our lifesteal, so it'll help us stay alive. That will let me sell the pistol if I want to, although the level 3 pistol is actually doing okay. Grenade launcher is probably worth buying. We have the explosive weapon tag, so explosive weapons, even if they duplicate our current weapon tag, are still just pretty good. And then I'm going to lock this coffee. Do I want to upgrade my ghost flint? I don't think it's worth it. That's just for the dodge. So killing the next elite could be pretty dangerous. Our damage is good, but not amazing, and our defenses are pretty terrible at this point. We just have not been offered a single armor item this entire run. And of course, we don't get armor from our levels as well. And I've decreased my dodge significantly, so that's no longer... Dodge is never that reliable, but it's no longer anywhere near as reliable now, because our dodge is significantly lower than it was. So we could still be in just a lot of trouble there. You can see we took 42 damage from that cursed mini-boss there, and we are not making that much money. So I'll take this. Okay, nice. Medical weapon tag we didn't have yet, so I'm definitely going to take that. I'll take the coffee here, and we'll do a reroll. The leather vest is such an amazing find. Just anything that gives us... obviously, the fairy is good, too, and we're happy about that. But anything that gives us any armor is good, and leather vest gives us dodge as well. When you have -3 armor... increasing your armor is just so important, and we have had no opportunity to do that. In fact, this run would almost certainly be easier if I sold the Ghost Flint and just had more armor and less dodge, but obviously that's out of theme for the run. That's one thing I really like about this combo, is that it's surprisingly difficult to play. You would think, given how many free stats we're getting, it would just be a cakewalk, but it's actually fairly tough to play this combination, and it's cool trying to balance your weapon tags, alongside the fact that this character combo naturally gets no defensive stats, so it can be very difficult to play. Yeah, so we'll take the leather vest, we'll take fairy, we'll take grenade launcher. Now we're in much better shape. Rip and tear, I think I will buy as well. We have the explosive weapon tag, so it's going to be pretty good there. All right, I'll level the ghost flint when it's just a level 1 ghost flint. And then I guess I'm buying pocket factory as well, because we have lots and lots of engineering. Lens, we have ranged damage, so I'll definitely buy that. Alien tongue, I think we can reroll, and we'll lock a lemonade for some additional healing, as well as extra regen. Stood there and just let that boss attack hit me. If they did, you know, little flavor text for the Brotato items, and if the new developers feel like giving me an item, you can say, took that damage for no reason. Obviously, everyone needs to petition their government to get me a Brotato item now that there's a new developer. Nice. So we have enough ranged weapons that the seashell will actually do a lot. Let's take a weapon slot here. We're very happy with that. We'll upgrade our weapons. We're gonna buy out all this for extra regeneration and then roll. I'm going to take the alien worm. More regen is good. We need more max HP, especially because my armor is still just completely tanked. We'll take the terrified onion as well. I'm going to re-roll here. Sharp bullet seems good. Plant is good as well. We'll level our rocket launcher and go to the next wave here. I could have taken the wand, and maybe I should have, actually, because it works well with the seashell and everything as well. -1 armor just feels... I can't remember the last time I was on wave 19 with -1 armor. I don't know if that's ever happened to me. It makes playing the game so much spookier, because any damage can just pop you immediately. Obviously, it's happened playing the Ghost, but outside of that. I'll take the Alien Tongue. Yeah, we can definitely use the Bloody Hand here. We have enough regen to offset the damage. Cute Monkey does cost me a ranged damage, which decreases our damage output, so I think I'm going to recycle it, take a weapon slot here, and then let's go ahead and... I can upgrade a rocket launcher, we can get Sharp Bullet. I'll buy a wrench, that'll get me another level 4 turret, which is nice. We're going into wave 20, so I'm just going to buy 2 more weapons just to have 2 more weapons. Take a Goat Skull, and then we'll re-roll. And nothing there that we can buy, so let's do some rerolls just for fun, and then go see what the bosses have in store for us. This is not a great weapon set for fighting the bosses, and I'm kind of nervous with -1 armor, because our single target damage is bad. We made actually surprisingly little money. And it would not take many hits, of course, for me to die, so I could be in a little bit of trouble going into the boss wave here. Did get some dodges there, which helped. I'm gonna run over here. We have a lot of consumable heal, so I can use that to stay alive, but I'm just taking so much damage every time I take a hit. So I'm just gonna run away a little more and try to heal back up. Obviously, took a bunch of hits there. Until I'm not used to having to pay this much attention to my movement. Also, it's kind of hard on this character in this wave, because usually the build carries you in the boss fight, so you don't actually have to dodge. And it's kind of hard to tell where the bosses are, because we just have so many weapons. So not the best fought bosses, but we did kill them, and we got there in the end, even with -1 armor. This is why this is the best stat in the game. It just makes the game very stressful when you don't have it. Let's take a look at our items here. So 435 off the bags, really underperformed here. Obviously, luck is pretty painful on the Vagabond because you buy it at half rate, so you're going to get fewer crates. But we just were really not getting great shops and not getting that lucky in terms of killing stuff in this run. So I'm actually pretty happy that we managed to win, even despite that. Triple Scar is really nice, got us up to level 19, but of course more XP gain would have been better. The penguins gave us some good regen during the waves. Baby elephants were pretty bad, only 15k damage with 2 baby elephants. That was embarrassingly bad. The explosive turrets were somehow awful as well. How did this only deal 3,000 damage? Our bone dice were also horrendous. So something was really up with the RNG in this run. We did not get lucky on basically anything. We dropped very few crates. Our bone dice did extremely poorly. So the game was kind of against me here. The Rip and Tear also did 0 damage. It's possible that the tracking is broken and there's some kind of bug introduced in the latest patch with GMO where these items aren't tracking properly. Because it does look like we should be just getting more value out of most of these things, but it's also possible that we just were genuinely running pretty poor on the luck front. Kind of interesting to look back at this run and think, oh, we actually got really unlucky. Treasure map gave us 3 items, obviously great there, especially given how few crates we found. And Celery Tea gave us some extra levels. The Ice Cube was really nice, goes well with the loot. Let's look at our weapons and see how they performed against the bosses as well. So 15, 2,000, 2,000. The Cursed Javelin, excellent, carrying us with 12k. Which other ones? Only 1,700 on the Lightning Shiv. 1,000 on the loot, but of course the loot debuffed the bosses as well. So it made everything else do more damage. 7,200 on the pistol, not bad. The Flamethrower dealt 3,800, but then also lots of burning damage. And the chainsaw, of course, did 12k because it does percentage-based damage. SMG was good. Grenade launcher, not bad. Rocket launcher did a lot. And the spear and knife both helped as well. All right, my friends, that was a fun run. Weirdly stressful at the end, but we got there. Unfortunately, no gobblers for us this time, but we'll be back and see if we can find more. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.